The term paper tiger was popularized by Mao Zedong to describe something that appears threatening but is in reality weak. A paper tiger looks fierce, sharp teeth claws are raw, but it's fragile, made of paper, and falls apart under real pressure. This idea isn't just political rhetoric, it applies to militaries that look powerful but are hollow inside. Billions can be spent on tanks and jets, but real strength isn't found in hardware alone. It's in the people, the training, the leadership, and the logistics. Morale matters as much as machinery. A military that neglects these fundamentals is a paper tiger, impressive on parade, brittle in battle. A tank is useless without a skilled crew. A jet is just a showpiece without trained pilots and maintenance. An army is a mob without competent leaders. Corruption and low morale are hidden weaknesses that rot a force from within. These flaws turn a fearsome beast into a fragile illusion. To truly assess a military, we must look past the parades and propaganda. Ask, how are the troops trained? Who leads them? Are they supplied and motivated? The answers reveal whether we're seeing a real predator or just a paper tiger waiting to be blown away. In this video, we'll look at how the Russian military's image and reality diverge. We'll see how the myth of strength can mask deep, dangerous weaknesses, and why, in war, illusions are always exposed. Let's begin. For decades, the Russian military has been seen as a juggernaut, the heir to the Soviet Red Army that defeated Nazi Germany. This reputation is built on history, spectacle, and myth. Moscow's Victory Day parades are designed to impress tanks, missiles, and soldiers in perfect formation. The world sees a display of power, and Russia uses this image to project influence and intimidate rivals. The swift annexation of Crimea in 2014 seemed to confirm Russia's military prowess. Special forces, little green men, moved with discipline and efficiency. Analysts praise new weapons like the S-400 air defense system and the T-14 Armata tank. The narrative, Russia is back, modernized and dangerous. Vladimir Putin's leadership reinforced this image of resurgence, but reputation isn't reality. Much of Russia's military image is built on parades, historical glory, and isolated successes. The focus is on hardware, not the human element. The world admired the roar and the claws, but ignored the health of the beast. This carefully constructed image would soon be put to the ultimate test. The gap between perception and reality was about to be exposed. When the pressure came, the cracks would show. The world would see if the Russian bear was flesh and blood or just paper. The myth was powerful, but myths don't win wars. Reality was waiting. Behind the polished parades, the Russian military is plagued by deep systemic problems. Most troops rely on aging, poorly maintained Soviet-era equipment. Corruption siphons off funds meant for upgrades and spare parts, leaving vehicles unreliable and vulnerable. Training is minimal, especially for conscripts, and a brutal hazing culture destroys morale and unit cohesion. Soldiers learn to survive their service, not to fight as a team. Leadership is rigid and unimaginative, with little initiative at lower levels. The lack of a strong non-commissioned officer corps means units struggle to adapt when plans go wrong. Morale is often rock bottom. Many conscripts are poorly paid, poorly treated, and unmotivated. When faced with real danger, these weaknesses become fatal. Corruption is everywhere. Expired rations, low-quality body armor, stolen fuel. Promotions are based on loyalty, not competence. The result, a force that looks formidable on paper, but is brittle and dysfunctional in practice. These problems aren't new, they've haunted the Russian army for generations. Recent conflicts have only made them more obvious. The Russian military's greatest enemy isn't on the battlefield. It's the rot within. When the shooting starts, these hidden flaws are impossible to hide. The paper tiger is exposed, and the consequences are devastating. Russian military struggles are nothing new. The First Chechen War was a disaster. Poor training, incompetent leadership, and collapsing morale led to defeat by a smaller, determined enemy. The Second Chechen War relied on brute force, not skill. In 2008, Russia's war with Georgia exposed failures in command and communication despite victory. The 2022 invasion of Ukraine was the ultimate test. Russia planned a lightning assault on Kyiv. What followed was chaos. A 40-mile convoy stalled, symbolizing logistical collapse. Old problems, fuel shortages, broken vehicles, insecure communications returned on a massive scale. Commanders repeated past mistakes and elite units were squandered. The reliance on poorly trained conscripts and penal battalions highlighted a manpower crisis. The war in Ukraine stripped away the myth of Russian military might. Corruption, poor leadership, and low morale were laid bare for the world to see. The cost in lives and equipment has been staggering. When a paper tiger is forced into a real fight, the illusion burns away. The world saw the truth, and it was sobering. Russia's military image, hyper-modern, unstoppable, was carefully crafted. Propaganda videos showed elite troops, advanced jets, and futuristic tanks. But the reality in Ukraine was starkly different. Old tanks from storage, soldiers using civilian radios, and absent superweapons. The T-14 Armata and Su-57 stealth fighter were missing from the front lines. Most fighting was done with outdated equipment by ill-prepared troops. The system prioritized appearances over substance. Money went to showcase projects, not essentials. Logistics, training, and maintenance were neglected. The war in Ukraine shattered the illusion. The world stopped looking at the parade ground and saw the battlefield instead. The difference was night and day. The perception was a scalpel, the reality a rusty sledgehammer. The gap was a chasm. The exposure of Russia's military weakness has global consequences. For Russia, it undermines the Kremlin's authority and emboldens domestic opposition. Neighbors may feel safer, but a wounded bear can be unpredictable and dangerous. Russia may rely more on nuclear threats and hybrid warfare, cyber attacks, disinformation, subversion. The risk of escalation rises when a power feels cornered. The global balance of power is shifting. China is watching, learning, and expanding its influence. NATO has been revitalized, strengthening its posture. The world is now more volatile and unpredictable. The paper tiger is exposed, but it can still start a fire. For Russia to shed its paper tiger status, deep reform is essential. Corruption must be rooted out with real transparency and accountability. Training and leadership culture must be rebuilt, ending hazing, empowering NCOs, and promoting merit. Logistics and maintenance need a complete overhaul, focusing on reliability over showpieces. The leadership must face hard truths, learn from failure, and encourage honest feedback. This transformation will take a generation and a fundamental shift in mindset. Without it, the Russian military will remain a hollow force. Reputation is built on reality, not illusion. Only substance, not spectacle, can turn a paper tiger into a true predator. The choice is Russia's to make.